Our late summer and early fall consisted of a lot of rainfall and failed gardening. Donald is a goofball who talks to his chickens like they are his people. I think perhaps he is right. They love to follow us on the farm because we're basically their main source of food.
Hold my power. Go. Go.
Donald has a special fondness for one particular chicken that he calls Baby Girl. She's the one that lets him hold her the most.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
We tried to give the goats a temporary shelter from all the rain, but it didn't quite work out as we had planned. The goats had other ideas with the tarp.
They've already tore it up and everything.
Yep.
I didn't mind, however, as it brought us much amusement.
Here she goes.
You're not meant to be on it. Or your fat butt's ripping it. I got 3 of them in there. And Liz, I'm gonna let you.
Oh, she's laid there.
So yeah, this is mine.
Over the summer, we took a little trip to York, Pennsylvania to have our first outing in person with some friends since December of 2019. We have an annual tradition of a crab moot where I had to teach Donald again how to eat Maryland crabs since, again, he is from Texas.
So legs first.
Legs first?
Legs first.
Yours. No. Respect. I have respect for you, Cat.
Leg. Leg.
Sometimes you get meat on them, sometimes you don't.
Leg. Claw too?
Yep. Claw, but hold the claw on the side because there's meat inside there you can get out. I'm reteaching Donald how to do that.
Well, it's been a bit.
Well, I did have hot dogs today. Just in case.
You want to eat something?
All right.
How about you have one of these?
All right.
It's really good.
So-
I really like these.
Oh,
Take your claw,
yeah.
break the... See if you get any meat. No? And then you take the...
Well, there's probably meat in here.
These
Well,
are
we're going to
red-
break them up
red
with the knife.
They're
And then you
really
take
good.
the
You're gonna really like them.
claw part
Mm-hmm.
and you pull it apart.
Ooh.
There you go.
You can put it outside.
Claw meat's a little tougher than inside the thing, but...
Yeah, I really want to play modern Minecraft.
You guys could talk about Minecraft.
I
You
mean,
really like Minecraft.
I am modded. I've caved and cleft.
He usually gives up after a few because he says it's too much work for what you get. It's hard to explain this social tradition to non-Marylanders.
Hey guys, Donald here with Copper Kettle Farms, and today we're going to talk about what we are planning to do with our property here to make it more regenerative. We're trying to change the word sustainable to regenerative, because you can sustain something, but just because you can sustain it doesn't mean you want it. So regenerative is more what we're looking at. We want to regenerate the soil. We want to regenerate the property. Yeah, so we'll talk about a couple things real quick. We got one of our arbors, one of our mini arbors. We use cattle panel. These make really good arbors. We're gonna have a gate right here that opens in and out. We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. So we're gonna have 4 gates. 2 of these are gonna go into the property. 2 of them are gonna go into the annual vegetable garden. Yeah, and then this section right here is where we're gonna have the sheep and the meat chickens rotating in and out. We're actually gonna redo the meat chickens. We're not going to be doing full-blood meat chickens anymore. We're going to be doing Delawares. Delawares are a good dual-purpose breed. They get very, very heavy for meat because they're primarily med for meat, but they also lay about 280 eggs a year, which is pretty good for a meat bird. This side is going to be, we're going to do a lot of wood chips on this side to make it more perennial. This side is going to be perennial grasses. So we have a lot of stuff. We're cutting it short. We're not going all the way over. We want to make sure we have a walkway for Crystal's shed, her office space, her work area, her she shed. So it can go around and we can go into the other arbor from this side too. And this is another peach tree. One of the other reasons we're doing this is, as you can see, we've had visitors chomping on our peach tree. You can see this whole side has been eaten from deer. So we're hoping that also discourages. We know they can jump over it, but I'm hoping that they don't want to jump over it. I'm hoping they're like me, and if they don't need to do that extra energy use, they won't. But so yeah, we have it going all the way around this whole area, all the way to the back. This is the garden area that we're going to have enclosed off with the pallets. Eventually, it's going to come down here and go all the way down to the end. We're just letting everything go to help build the soil up, put more organic matter on the ground. This side I've weed eated this side twice. This side I have not weed eated at all. All this right here was our chicken tractor. And you can see the spots where all this dead grass in the corner sections are. This is where the chickens work. And they just get moved every day. Right now they're over there, and yeah, they're just all the way around. And it's not like they're not in high grass. They're in this stuff. Right now they're in thistle, and they're knocking it down pretty good. Like, this is the garden. We're gonna corner some of this stuff off, and then let the goats inside here, and let them go to town. This is our chickens in one day. That's what that used to look like over there in the corner. Used to look like this, but as you can see, there was a lot of green coming back already, and we're just moving them every day. And this is what they're on right now, this stuff. And this being thistle, this helps break up your compacted soil. This is why it's over here, because this is all compacted. So the longer tap roots break it up, allow water to go in, allow air to go in, and then you have all of this manure. And they're stomping it down to put it back on the ground for a cover. But I'm gonna have them go all the way down to the gate, come up on this side, and come all the way down. They're probably gonna be about here when it's ready to butcher. And they're pretty good size. And these are the Red Rangers or Freedom Rangers, or we don't like the Cornish crosses because they're less active, and they just sit there and they have a lot of health issues. These guys are very active. If I let them out, they'll run around here for a little bit, start flying off, but I want them contained in this area. So that way I can control where their manure is going and their fertilizer. Then you have all of our orchards. We're also protecting all this right here is all here to protect the orchard that we're starting to establish, especially on this side of the garden. That's going to be our annual stuff, minus the 2 apple trees. Everything else over here is going to be our orchard. So what we do on how building this soil is going to be different than how we're going to be building this soil. That's our 2 test plotting. That's going to be the experiment. How we work on this annually, which is going to be a no-till. Going to be a lot of cardboard, a lot of newspaper, a lot of hay. Those are going to be the 3 main things that we do. And compost, hot compost for bacteria. This side is going to be a lot of perennial grasses, a lot of wood chips being spattered around here, and a lot of grazing. Once we get the sheep, which for me probably next year, we're going to get the sheep, and they're going to be able to go in this area here, all of this. And I'm saying this area because right about where these stakes are, these T-posts, this is all going to be the annual garden. So we're going to have the pallets going down this row and connecting over here. And then this right here will probably be corn, and then potatoes down in the end. This is going to be our peppers and tomatoes and zucchini and cabbage in the middle over there with the beans. We let it go just to help with the soil because it's just not very good soil right now. But it's also, we're also letting it capture a lot of water. This whole area used to be flooded a lot, especially in this area right over here. Whenever it rained, it was flooded. And since we've been doing this, past 2 years, we've had some really good rain. We haven't had any ponding, any flooding. The water's been going into the soil. The back corner where the log is, that whole area on the other side of the fence, that ponds. But on this side, doesn't pond. Of course, we have a lot of wood chips that we put over there to help soak it up. So the 2 sheep that we're going to be getting, or the breed of sheep, is going to be called correct me if I'm wrong, a 𝙂𝙖𝙧𝙙𝙤. But it's a small breed. It's as tall as the chicken. They're like 24 inches or shorter. I don't know how about that.
Like a puppy.
They're like a puppy. Small enough that we'll be able to rotationally graze them all the way through, help with the soil building, the carbon sequestration, building up the water infiltration and all that. And it's just going to be using sheep netting, goat netting, like electrified netting. And we're just going to encircle it, move them every day. Same thing we're going to be doing. Basically, it's going to be what we're doing with here. We're just moving them in a spot every day. And we're going to use the sheep for this. This is what we're going to use for the goats from now until spring. We don't want the goats here because the goats are browsers. Goats will take the trees down. Sheep do not do that. Sheep graze. You want sheep when you have an orchard. You want goats if you have a lot of woody material, like the thistles are a woody material. Pokeweed, if you have a lot of pokeweed, like we have some pokeweed in the back, the goats will decimate a pokeweed. Even though they're poisonous to us, the goats can digest it, and the more they eat the leaves, the more pokeweed pulls up carbs from the roots to regrow the leaves. The more goats eat the leaves, shorter the roots, eventually the entire plant will die. So you won't have any extra growing up. We're going to take all the perennials out of here, out of the beds. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to put, like if we have, like this, we got oregano, and we just let it flower. It's going to bring in pollinators. But we're going to put this in a pot. And then we're going to take the perennials that are potted. Actually, we got a bee right here. If we need companion planting with the perennials, we'll put them in pots and put them around with the annuals. But for the most part, this is going to be all annuals except for that tree and then the tree over here, which the cicadas death. The rest is going to be just annuals. So it's going to be easier for us to figure out how to do it. So we're over here now under the pecans with the fence, and we're going to talk about, one, why we chose the cattle panels and the benefits really of the cattle panels. If you look at the back, we kind of have wood set up with 4x4 posts and 2x6s to make a fence of wood. But then the wood prices hit, skyrocketed, so I couldn't afford it. This, I can afford. A 16-foot section of this is roughly $50. And that counts the cattle panel, the 5 T-posts that I use, because I use it every 4 feet, and then the zip tie, and then the tube of 12-gauge wire. That together is about $50 a section. If this was the wood, it would be about $300 a section. So That to me is a benefit, is a sixth of the price. 2, I can take this off if I wanted to. If we want to move, which I don't want to pull this up if we do move, but I have the availability to just cut these and then just put these on a trailer and then pull everything up. It's about 1.5 feet in the ground, so you can just pull them up. They're not in concrete, and that's another reason why I used a lot of them, because they help support the weight. Nothing should be really coming in here that's going to be able, if something wants to knock it over, I don't want to mess with it. You know, that's like a bull comes around here. You don't want to use the 6-footers, you want to use like an 8-footer T-post and have it go 2 to 3 feet in the ground and have multiples of them. That should help. I don't know, I still don't think it'll actually help with the bull. For what we want with the sheep in here, that's going to help with the sheep. They're little bitty baby sheep. And to keep coyotes out. Coyotes, so again, it's if something wants in here, it's gonna get in here if it really, really wants in here. But this is just a deterrent. We're trying to deter as much as possible. Coyotes can climb, so if they really, really want to get in here, they can get in here. But we'll just be putting the sheep up at night in the little shed. Eventually, we'll probably put chicken wire on the inside all the way around. That will cost extra, but that's just in case we want to keep chickens inside here, because chickens will go through this. On this side, we're gonna have perennials all the way down, and then perennials in the back end. Perennials on the back end. Hopefully we're gonna try to put some pine shrubbery over there that are like 6 to 8 feet. That'll help with the windbreak. With just this right here, hopefully once we have it done and we have it set up and going, we can actually show that, like our entire property, we have 2 lots, this lot and then that lot. Together it's 1.26 acres. So it's not a big homestead property. You know, the chickens are, for the most part, are over there with the goats. Eventually we're going to do some more moving around of the animals, but hopefully this will show that it's a very inexpensive, usable way to have full animals, goats, sheep. Probably not cattle, because we don't have enough room for regenerative agriculture with cattle, but the sheep and the goats should be able to supplement it. Chickens, we have some rabbits in the back. Altogether, that should be enough with the garden and the orchard to maintain most of our food throughout the year on 1.26 acres. I know some people that have done it with less, like 1/10 of an acre, but that's every piece, every movement, everyone is doing something with that piece of property, and it's just vegetarian food. I like meat. If we can do this with lamb, chicken, egg, goats are probably just for goat milk and goat cheese. You can probably also make goat soap with it and sell and make some more profit off of that.
Kids.
So goat kids. We have the rabbits that we can, I'm gonna try to see if I can get a rabbit tractor also to go in through this system with the chickens and the sheep. And then we can have rabbit meat. Rabbit meat is very delicious. I like rabbit meat. And then you can have it to where it's all regenerative. You're providing the habitat for the animal, you're providing the nutrient with the animal, but you're also allowing the animal to provide nutrients to the soil. And a healthy soil provides healthy plants, which provides healthy animals and healthy humans. That's what we're trying to do here. So this is obviously going to take a couple of years. Building soil takes years. It's not an overnight fix, but it takes years to destroy soil. That's what we're trying to do here, and I think you should stay with us for the journey.
If you'd like to follow along on our journey to implement small-scale regenerative agriculture, don't forget to like and subscribe.